Good morning, Joey here. Welcome to Cariboo Weather Dude YouTube channel. Sitting here in Wells, BC, where it's snowing this morning. We've got a couple things to talk about. We got a big time storm coming on Friday. It's part of a multi-punch effort the Pacific is going to throw at us over the next little while. And what's going to happen is one of those final punches is going to hit far into the north. It's going to really warm things up there temporarily. That's also going to invite the cold to come screaming back down in behind. We have some hints now in the modeling that we may be looking at a cold end of January here in British Columbia. So we're going to talk about all these things and more while we have a bit of a day off from the storms today. A bit of one, still some spots, but there's no warnings on the board right now in British Columbia. So it gives us some time to look out. Okay. Sketched out. Big moose. Getting angrier. Now, if you jump off. Here she goes. You never know what can happen. Things are going on, Here she comes. That's pretty close. And here's one I just caught right before I put the video public. Waterspout, watch for the Pacific waters updated by Environment Canada, 4:51 a.m. That watch is for the Strait of Georgia, Juan de Fuca Strait, West Entrance, Johnstone Strait, Queen Charlotte Strait, West Coast, Vancouver Island North, West Coast, Vancouver Island South, Queen Charlotte Sound, Central Coast from McInnes Island to Pine Island, Hecate Strait, Dixon Entrance East, Dixon Entrance West, West Coast Haida-Gwaii, Bowie, Explorer. Conditions are favorable for the development of waterspouts today. All offshore marine regions and many inner south coast marine regions. This morning and into the early afternoon, a robust and unstable trough of low pressure is pushing through the offshore marine waters and heading towards Vancouver Island. This particular setup is conducive to the potential for waterspout formation. As the trough continues to push southeast towards Vancouver Island, the threat of waterspout formation spreads to the inner south coast waters this morning and will continue until early afternoon. By mid-afternoon, the threat of waterspout formation will have subsided as the trough pushes inland. First thing on the board today, we have a highway closure on Highway 1. If you're going anywhere west of Kamloops through Savona, there's been a multi-vehicle incident. Watch for traffic control. There's a detour in effect. The road is closed. Eastbound is open. Detour via Highway 97 to 24. Watch for crews and equipment working there. Next update's in 27 minutes. Also up on Highway 5, multi-vehicle incident there. Next update in 1 hour. So, the road may be closed. There may be a detour in effect. 3 kilometers north of Little Fort to 8 kilometers south of Clearwater is where that's going on. So a couple problem areas on the highways this morning. And still down on Highway 3, we got a major delay between Sunshine Valley and Manning Park for 46.2 kilometers from road maintenance. First, we'll start by talking about Friday into Saturday. That's when our first hints of the storm arrive. This is what it will look like when it first shows up. But this map, when you come to Saturday, when we get to Saturday, is going to change. I don't think they've made one yet. We're going to see southern BC light up just like this. Look at some of the things we're talking about. Risk of ice up there in the piece. We got snowfall through Pine Pass, a bit on Highway 16. Risk of ice going out towards Smithers, through Telkwa and the Bulkley. Then you got risk of ice and rain and snowfall out on the coast and rain and heavy winds there. So that's just what it looks like when it shows up. We have a very active Pacific storm track coming at us. Although we're getting a bit of a gap today, there's still a little bit of snowfall that is happening out there. And we still do see on Thursday even a risk that could see a little bit of snowfall in the mountains in Vancouver Island. A little bit of snowfall in the mountains. Every day seems to have a little bit of snowfall still out there. Some flurries, mostly relegated to high country. But we are taking a bit of a break, for the next couple days while we wait for this next big punch to show up. And by the big punch, you can see it's really this guy right here, this big bulge. That's the start of our big storm. The storm is coming at us. Although there's no snowfall warnings going on today of any kind right now. All warnings have been dropped in the province. We still do have some snowfall going on. It's snowing here in Wells, for example. A little bit in these eastern sides coming out towards the mountains there. The clouds are stacking up and still enough moisture. It's dropping some snowfall upper Fraser, Penny, in the areas like that, up through Highway 97, Summit Lake. Flurries at times. You'll be bumping into them if you're driving up there today. Maybe even closer up to McLeod, a few dusts here and there, a few flurries. I've seen some snowfall, precipitation moving through Revelstoke, sitting at 0 degrees right now. The precipitation depiction's confused as to whether it's snowing or freezing rain or something like that going on in the mountains there. It's probably still not a very nice drive over the pass. Do have rainfall moving this morning also through Vancouver Island. Not much of it there. Seen some of that pop up by Abbotsford, between Abbotsford, Chilliwack. Some rainfall out there nearby. Maybe not raining right on you. Vancouver looking a little bit dry this morning. And just hints out there off the coast of our storm that's brewing and coming towards us next. We're going to see multiple storms. It's going to be like a continuous sort of punch coming up at us. But it's clearly evident the Pacific is primed out there when you look at the satellite. And big, tall clouds out there, heavy with moisture. And we can see that everything is steering it to come right at British Columbia. Most places in BC were sitting around 0 or colder this morning. Most places actually did get to freezing, maybe Vancouver being the outlier, and a few spots on Vancouver Island, some of the islands. But mostly we have seen as this storm is going out, the colder temperatures come back down in behind. That's generally how it goes, and we'll see them rebound back up when that next storm arrives. The Chinook did arrive yesterday in Alberta in a more widespread basis. We'd seen for a few days it just kind of sitting down here, a little warm pocket. Finally, that did push itself way up to the north. Calgary -4 this morning. That's like a 10-degree temperature change for them in just 2 days. As well, you can see even out into Saskatchewan, Maple Creek sitting just above 0 there this morning. Lethbridge at -1. If you can recall, a couple days ago, down by Cardston, it was like a couple degrees above 0, but Lethbridge was like at 14 below or something crazy. It was wild temperature variation. And it's not that unlike Maple Creek here being so nice, and then -9, -16 by the time you're up to Kindersley and Rosetown. Our Arctic bulge is very warped, very misshapen. It's very confused as to what where it wants to be. It should be a nice round bubble of cold, but it's not. It's spilling out and it's misshapen. It's deformed. For example, the North Pole is about -22 this morning. Right, that's pretty warm for the North Pole. You can see other places -3. North end of Greenland here, we got -6. This is not Arctic temperatures, -7. This Arctic air is being displaced. Here we're not very far, although it's often a little bit warmer up towards Iceland because of the Atlantic currents. 1.8 degrees up there. That's very close to the North Pole, very, very close to the North Pole. So you can see that's quite an unusual difference between there and, say, if you go over to the Russian side where it's -47.1, you go up to Northwest Territories, -40 right now. So this Arctic air is on the move. It's not in a stable location. It's not in a nice polar vortex. It's spilling out and it's escaping. That's one of its features right now. And these storms that we're seeing out here are going to pound up the BC and Alaska coast more and more and keep making this temperature bulge. And you can already see it here, this temperature bulge in the Yukon where it's -15, south end of Northwest Territories, -15. You go a little bit further east and it's -32. And you can see that already, this upper level low, that's right here. We can already see it spinning nicely in this diagram. There it is. This upper level low is already helping make temperatures warmer up into the Yukon and up into the even some parts of Alaska. Even some parts of Alaska are going to see a nice big warm up. So we're going to have a big warm up for them with the storms that are pulsing in. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be followed by a big temperature drop for us. We're going to see this Arctic air that's on the move spill down into the western side of Canada, including British Columbia. Well, we can go to the Center for Western Weather and Water Extremes and look at our atmospheric rivers that we're expecting to see come. So GFS modeling shows Pulse 1, there's Storm 1, atmospheric river, Storm 2. It actually comes as a separate storm, Storm 3. Bam, you see how that really pushed up, and there's one in behind it. You see how that really pushed up into that panhandle up towards the Yukon, BC, Alaska border. It really pushed up. This one does right here. Bam, that's going to pound temperatures up. That's going to make a big difference for everybody. My fear is that it invites the cold as it moves through to eventually come down. That high pressure will establish itself, and we might see our temperatures later on in January become nasty. Now we'll look for the next week at the winds going across the Pacific at the 250 hectopascal level. That's way up at the very top of the jet stream, but it really shows us our weather delivery system. Poof, look at that one right there. You can see that's the one we're talking about. That's the big warm up that's coming for the north. There's going to be a couple rounds of fluctuating temperatures up there, but this will be a big punch So that's where we are going weather-wise for the next little while. We got the big storm is going to show up on Friday. We've looked at it already a bunch of times here. Today I wanted to give you kind of a larger, wider view of where we're going once again while we have some time between now and the next storm. I think next forecast will really focus on what it looks like Friday into the weekend. You know, what does our jet stream analysis look like? There's that ridging I'm talking about. Look at that warm spell all through Western Canada. Look at that warm spell. You can see that high pressure south of us is just feeding the lows straight up into the BC, Alaska panhandle. You can see again, we're a little bit on the cold side to start today, but then boom, ridging right back up. Warmth abounds. It'll be really nice. It'll be subtropical warmth coming right for you, right towards those northern places. I wish that would stay nice for you. It's not gonna. But what's gonna happen is we're gonna send another big storm across over to the Atlantic side. Looking at these temperatures on the Canadian model, what can we discern from this? That's nice warm up BC, the Peace, Alberta side, boom, warming up there. Saturday, Sunday, nice weekend for you. It's still cold in the Yukon more than you like though. Some hints of warmth like we said. Bam, there you go. That's a punch. That's a quick warm up for you. And look at that heat is going to go right across the prairies. Say we go to ECMWF model instead. Look, the 10th. Big warm up on the prairies. That's going to be so lovely for you. Look at that one. They think it's going to be even more pronounced than the Canadian model does. Boom, big time pronounced. Big January thaw, 15th. And then look at, do we take some cold? It seems like we get some cold down the Rockies. Seems like it's going to come for us. I'm feeling this. Even GFS shows it warming up in Western Canada. There we go. This is a longer range model, though. Will we see the cold in this model? Will we see it? They think pretty cold right there. Oof. There's signs. 22nd, 23rd of the month. Anyways, a little bit of flurries and whatnot Thursday into the mountains, maybe a little bit in Vancouver Island. But then we're going to see Friday, first thing in the morning. It's going to be showing up overnight Friday, basically overnight into Friday. So be ready. Friday, big storm day. Here comes the atmospheric river. Big pulse, big wind, big mess Friday night into Saturday. Here it comes into BC there, slamming on down the coast. It's going to be a real good one. Then Saturday night, it still continues with another pulse of it. Oof, yes. It's going to be a rainy, messy, windy, crappy bunch of days on the BC coast. Another big storm pounds on through. That is our weekend. The next video, we're going to have all info on the bad weather story. And by that, I mean we'll talk about snowfall amounts, rainfall amounts, totals like that. So stay tuned later on in the day. If we have any new news to report, that's when we'll probably release another new forecast on the weekend. So that's where we are. That's where we're going. That's our temperature. We've been talking about it for the last bunch of days, where the temperatures are going to be going in Western Canada. We got a big warm up, and then we got multiple pulses of atmospheric river punching at us. We got a big warm up that's coming because of that, but then we're inviting the cold to come screaming on down. Hit like, share, subscribe, become a channel member if you want to support the guy. Thank you very much for being part of my show, everybody. Have a great day.